Welcome to the Urban Agriculture Community Mapping Dashboard. This dashboard brings together information about community characteristics, urban agriculture, food access, and other points of interest. In this tutorial, I'll walk through step by step how you can use the dashboard. To start, let's go to the left side panel and explore urban areas and demographics. So if you click the boundary type, you can actually decide which geographic boundary you would like to look at, such as municipal, zip code, neighborhood, and ward. And if you click specific geographic areas, you can actually look at specific areas within these regions, such as if you click neighborhood, the list of neighborhoods versus zip codes, it's a list of zip codes. Now let's go back to neighborhoods. And actually, let's zoom in at Buckeye Wood Hill. If you click Buckeye Wood Hill, it actually zooms in here, and you can actually click it to verify this is where you're at. Now, let's back out just a little bit and notice how it's still highlighted on the map. Let's say that, for example, for Buckeye Wood Hill, that we want to know the demographics of those that are within it or around it, or better yet, in the entire Cuyahoga County region. So the demographic category selector highlights big buckets of topics that you may be interested in, such as income and poverty, race and ethnicity, travel commute, health, or education attainment. If we want to see specifically health, the demographic measure shows you the measure you can pick within the overall category. For example, the default one up top is food insecurity, and the dark blue areas know areas of high food insecurity. It's also important to note that all these variables are publicly USDA/CDC variables, and these are estimates. So these numbers reflect estimates. If we go back to and click on Buckeye Wood Hill right here, if we zoom in to where we don't see the boundary, we can actually select the census tracts within the region and learn more about the statistics. So if our statistic is food insecurity, I click it, I see that 44% of those in this tract may suffer from food insecurity. This one estimates that 39% in this neighboring census tract. Or let's look at this lighter blue one where it's 22.3%. And if I want to compare that to, let's say, a different neighborhood, let's say Bel Air Puertas, it'll automatically zoom in to that area. And then if I click, 23.20% in this census tract versus a neighboring one, 25.7. And if you were interested in a different metric outside of health, let's say that you may be interested in travel commute. In travel commute, there's percentage of those who do not have a vehicle or the percentage of those who use public transportation. Right now, it's on the percentage of those who don't have a vehicle. So this census tract has 13%, estimates of 13% that do not have a vehicle in that tract. This one may have 8%. And if we compare that to where we were in Buckeye Wood Hill, remember zoom in, 40% in this census tract do not have a vehicle. So again, this highlights can be used to highlight specific areas that may be of interest where you can zoom in and out of. Now that we've highlighted explore areas and demographics, let's talk about points of interest. So up top in the banner, there's some points that could be tools or locations that may be useful or integral for urban farmers. So currently there are two broad categories, food access and vacant land. Let's start off with the food access one. You notice that there's a lot of different points, which through select points of interest, you can actually narrow down the ones that may be of interest. So let's say, for example, you may be interested in farmers markets. Now we can see all the farmers markets that are in the data. It's also important to note, if you click filter out here, you'll see that the total number of farmers markets in the area. The reason why there was 0 before was because we were zoomed in on specifically this neighborhood of Buckeye Wood Hill, and they don't have a farmers market. So that's why we saw 0 there earlier. But if you click filter back out, there's a total of 20 farmers markets. And in fact, if you want to know more information about these farmers markets, you can actually see there's a list of all the farmers markets in these areas, along with some identifiers such as the name and or may possibly the location of where they're at. So if I click this farmers market, you'll notice that it zooms in to this farmers market. I know the demographics of, because we select the travel commute, I can know, okay, 50% don't have a vehicle, or 50.9. And then here at the bottom, I can actually see more information such as the 50.9 I discussed regarding not having a vehicle access, but also 6.7 don't have public transportation. If I did a different variable such as the health one, I get all different types of estimates. So right now it's food insecurity, food stamps. So 56.6 suffer from food insecurity. That's reflected right here. Now let's see a different area. Okay, this farmers market, North Union Farmers Market at Legacy Village, they actually have 6% food insecurity, but 42% regarding like population in this tract may have estimates of high cholesterol. Or this farmers market. Or let's say that you're interested in large grocery store. So if I do large grocery store, click here, understanding demographics here. So now you can see the demographics in every area conditional on where a point that you may be of interest. The last one that I'll highlight is vacant land. For vacant land, this could be land parcels that could be potentially used for like urban farms. So there's broad categories such as commercial vacant land, residential vacant land, vacant industrial land, vacant ag land. If you click, for example, residential vacant land, it'll zoom into a specific area and you can see. If you click change and click the demographics, similar function. And turns out, if we click on zip code, and if you click the municipal, there's 447 residential vacant lands that are within this specific zip code. Another thing that I would highlight is this data can be downloaded. So for example, the demographic profile, if you're interested in this specific zip census tract, or if you're interested in this location's data, you can export this. You can also export this list that filters based on specifically the zip code and area. So there's different areas that you can download and use. If there's any questions, you can always refer back to this YouTube video from this link that you're watching. Or if there's any questions, you feel free to email, or any data that you would like to be added to this dashboard. You can also make inquiries about that as well. Hope you found this useful, and thank you.